So hi, welcome everybody, and welcome to this regroup hour. It is so wonderful to have you all here, and I hope you've got somewhere lovely where you can settle and listen and just enjoy this next sort of hour-ish, maybe a bit less than an hour, undisturbed. And so the regroup hour is a time when we can all come together and enjoy some sort of rest and relaxation, a bit of self-reflection, and it feels particularly resonant in these times to have these moments of connection. I'll come on to that again actually in a bit. I'm Henny, for those of you who don't know me. I'm a coach, I'm a retreat host, and I've got a special interest in change and in how self-care and the different practices of self-care help us make and manage change successfully. And during the regroup hour, we look at different facets of change and all through the lens of self-care. So we're picking up on ideas and experiences that we explore through the regroup retreats, but we're also looking at other tools as an opportunity for discussion with lovely guests that I have met along my journey. And essentially, it's a time when we can all regroup and come together. See what I did there? So over 3 weeks, we've been looking at different tools that we can use to develop our resilience, and looking at lessons from psychotherapy today, voicework, and next week we'll be looking at mindfulness. So all 3 things that can help us develop and grow resilience, and working with 2 really lovely teachers. So Abbie today, and then next week we'll be working with Gemma Sandwell, who is a mindfulness coach. And Gemma's actually with us today in the audience. So I'm just going to do a little wave to Gemma there. So this session builds on one that I recorded last week, which looked at lessons from psychotherapy around 10 key traits and behaviours that have been identified by the American Psychological Society that are all really core to how we can explore and build our resilience. And one of the bits of feedback actually from last week was from a lady, Debbie, saying, I like the non-fixing of ourselves as we see all those things as downfalls, rather than remembering that we are all just human, no better or worse than the ones next to us. I thought that was a really lovely takeaway, actually, that's a really important part of resilience, actually, is that we are all equal. Abbie's feedback was, your voice was very soothing. It almost didn't matter what you were saying. I'm not quite sure how to take that, but I think she meant it as a compliment. So as we move on with the regroup hour, we've got this sort of next one in the series, which is about resilience and how mindfulness helps us. And for me, resilience is absolutely synonymous with compassion. Like you can't have true resilience without compassion. And when I was talking to Gemma about it, she talked about mindfulness with kindfulness. And I thought that was a rather lovely phrase. So she'll be exploring that with us next week. And then after that, our next sort of sessions are kind of building on some of these themes, actually, but looking more specifically around menopause and how self-care can help us with that as well. So I'll share more on that later, well, in future messages to you guys. So today's session with the wonderful Abbie Lathe. For those of you who don't yet know Abbie, she is a singer-songwriter. She's over 35 years experience performing in bands. She's done session singing for the BBC, and she's taught the many facets of voice work. And I know lots of you with us today have worked with Abbie before and know how gorgeous it is to work with her. Her enthusiasm and joy is infectious, and it's just wonderful to listen to her expertise and her intuitive guidance as well around how things that can feel relatively simple or sound relatively simple around voice work, how they can bring us into our body and kind of harmonize that experience of the body and the mind, and create a place of inner confidence, which is all tied in with resilience and how we can feel more resilient. So I just wondered, for those of you who feel the urge, whether sort of in the chat, just to put like what resilience means to you. I think it could be quite interesting to see if there are some different sort of definitions or words that come up for you as you think about resilience. And we'll have a look at those towards the end of the session. So resilience for me helps us manage our emotional response to what's going on around us. So that's the kind of the sort of from a coaching or from a psychotherapeutic perspective, that's really what it does. And it enables us to move forward without getting lost in things that might trip us up or trap us in stuck thinking. And it's also a foundation stone to successful change. And I mentioned before about how compassion is an enormous part of true resilience. And last week, when I shared the 10 behaviours and traits that help us grow resilience, if you have a listen to that, you'll hear that compassion is part of that. From a psychotherapeutic perspective, compassion is part of it. But there were 4 in particular that really stood out for me that I felt that this session with Abbie really kind of taps into. And one is making connections and building social support network. So events like this, coming together when we're physically distant but we're socially connecting, feels really powerful. And so we're already actively building up that resilience muscle. Number 2 from the American Psychological Society is this idea of avoiding the tendency to view crises as insurmountable challenges. So coming into our bodies is a way of creating perspective on what's happening around us. And I know this is a theme that Abbie's going to pick up on in her session. And it's a way of, so when we come into our bodies, when we come into using our voice and kind of feeling it within our bodies, I think it's a way of creating that sacred pause that so many teachers talk about. It's a way of creating a space where we can hear ourselves clearly. Number 3 of the list that I thought was really important was looking for opportunities for self-discovery. So testing ourselves, stepping out of our comfort zone. And for me, doing this kind of voice work is definitely part of that. And I'm actually doing some work one-to-one with Abbie, stepping into my vulnerabilities around singing and some of the stories that I hold around singing, as a way of testing my own self-discovery. So that's another sort of part that I think we're doing today. And also the last one was nurturing a positive view of yourself and your abilities. And there was something that Abbie said when we did the session on fear with her, and she said, this is not about an X Factor type singing competition. This is about using our voice as a way of nurturing ourselves. So I think of a list of 10, I think we're certainly tapping into 4 of those tools around building resilience. So before I hand over to Abbie, I just wanted to read something that fell into my hand when Abbie and I were talking about this session. And it felt very resonant. It felt as though it kind of summed up quite a lot of what we're going to be talking about today, and what I've already shared with you. So it's my darling girl. My darling girl, you said you couldn't do it. You said it was too hard. You said you weren't the type. You said you didn't know how. You said that it looked scary, that it might hurt, that you'd be judged. And then you took a breath and gripped my hand and went and did it anyway. My gorgeous girl, I couldn't have been prouder. To take yourself out of your own way, to tremble and turn that trembling energy into the power to supercharge your self-belief. That's well done, my love. That's well done. So now I'm going to hand you over to the rather wonderful Abbie Lathe.
Wow. Thank you, Henny. Lovely. And thanks everyone for coming. It's lovely to see you all. And Henny, I just want to say thank you for all this that you're doing, because it's just such a lovely thing to share all these tools you've got and last week's was fantastic. So if you haven't heard the resilience one that Henny did last week, then have a listen on her website, because I've learned so much. Thank you very much. I had a really interesting week, which I might share with you all later, about some of the insights I've had thanks to Henny's help. So yeah, resilience. So emotions and feelings that come up, we tend to either block them or brace ourselves against them, or shy away, or maybe be cowed by them. All these things that happen with emotions and feelings because it's uncomfortable. And that kind of does work for a while. It sort of protects you from being hurt. But what ends up happening is that we can become quite brittle if you're bracing yourself. And so resilience is about not being brittle, is about actually using your emotions to become a source of strength and power. And as a lot of you know, that's a lot of how I teach singing, is by tapping into, say, the fear. There's the really big one, and we did that a couple of weeks ago with Henny on a Henny session as well. Tapping into those parts of ourselves and using the voice to express that feeling. So yeah, it's about not blocking the emotions, not blocking the feelings, but actually doing the opposite. What happens if we open up to the feelings, open up to the emotions, and embrace is the wrong word, welcome them in, make space for them, and see what happens when we do that. And what you'll find is that they become our best teacher. Our feelings and our emotions are our teacher. And so if we keep blocking them and suppressing them, we're not going to learn. We just sort of brace. So yeah, and how do we do this? How do we open up to these feelings and emotions? Because the whole reason why we block and suppress is because we're afraid of, I think sadness is one where we're afraid if we start crying, we're just never going to stop. There's that thing. Anger, obviously, we don't do anger, but anger can be amazing. And as I know some of you out there know about Bulgarian singing. Anyway, that's another story. Singing Bulgarian is really powerful singing, and it's really getting hold of a real strong energy inside you. So I've already I'm already now explaining why the voice is such a great way of growing resilience, because you can feel the difference, you can feel the effects. And the other thing that's brilliant about the voice, and the reason why I do it, is because probably I'm very lazy and the voice is just here all the time. I didn't have to sort of, you don't have to go to the doctors or whatever. It's just here inside our body. So perfect. And so yeah, using the voice is one of many ways, one tool that we can grow resilience. And as you know as well, it's not about being a good singer, which can get in the way for a lot of people we tend to not like our voices, or not like our voices. The relationship with our voice might not be particularly healthy. We might be slightly embarrassed if it's out of tune, all that kind of stuff. So it's not about being a good singer. It's much more about, in fact, it's only about developing a healthy relationship with our voice. And absolutely everybody can do that. Absolutely everyone can do that. So yes. Yeah, so by mentally and physically trusting your voice, not trusting, supporting your voice, and really allowing your voice to show you a deeper wisdom. That's why we all love singing, because actually we're tapping into something really deep, unexpressive, all that kind of stuff. So we'll find this, allowing your voice to, sorry, I'm rubbish at speaking, great at voice work. Words. Anyway, words get in the way for me. So what I will do is take you through the warm-up that I usually do at the beginning of singing sessions. And this is a way to start growing this relationship with your voice, not trying to make it really good, make it be anything, just finding out where it is, how it feels. And this is what it's all about, is feeling the voice inside our own bodies and not judging it, just starting to get the feeling of it. And then after I've shown you that, we'll look at how we can use that for growing resilience, emotional resilience. So if you'd like to get yourselves comfortable, and by comfortable, you don't need to stand up. You can if you want to, but actually sitting is quite nice. I'm going to sit myself. So close your eyes. So first of all, we're just going to start developing this relationship with our voice. So this is our body and our voice, and we want to create space inside. So just focusing on your breathing, and allowing your attention to come down into your body. So feel the contact of your bum on the seat or your feet on the floor. You just become aware of the physical sensations going on right now. Even if you might have discomfort, you might have pain, a little bit of coldness, all of it, just notice it. And allow your breathing to slow down. And what we're going to do, we're going to use our bodies like an instrument, to use our voices. So that means to create space in the body. So on each in-breath, just expand, get a sense of expansion. We're going to go straight, for now, we're just going to come into the chest for now. So, or solar plexus, kind of where your ribs meet, at the front there. What I'd like you to do is, as you breathe in, just creating space, making yourself hollow, open. And what we're doing is we're creating a resonant space in which the voice can sit, can move, can resonate. And we're just going to experience the physical sensation. How does that feel? So when you're ready, just humming or an ooh, I want you to really place the voice in your chest and feel it resonating. We're going to do two more of those. So remember, each in-breath is to open, really open up that physical space in the chest, really opening. Try an R, actually R might be a bit better. And we're going to really see if we can feel the voice resonating in your back as well. Oh. So we're moving away from singing or listening to ourselves and judging or anything. We're just experiencing the physical sensation of resonating in the body. One more of those. So remember, the more open you inflate. Oh, oh yeah, I forgot to say yawning. when you actually yawn, you automatically open up. So yeah. So just by doing that exercise in itself can actually calm you down, which deals with one of the big feelings is the fear one, and just by feeling fear, usually I feel it about there, isn't it? Butterflies in the tummy and the chest. Just by opening that space and making sound within it, just calms you down. So that's one straight away sorted out. So yeah, that's quite calming. But we're going to go a bit lower now. So I want you to really, as you breathe in, just loosening. So we need to loosen the jaw. Remember that feeling of creating space. In fact, when you start doing it, it automatically makes you yawn, which is great. Because you know when you yawn, you go, I can't speak and I'm yawning. Oh. That is the resonant voice, the body being very resonant. So down into the belly now. There's no right or wrong about this. Just remember to, because we're trying to get away from that belief that the voice is in your throat. It's not. That's just where the vocal cords are. Your voice is your whole body, every spare little bit of space you can find in your body. So we're going to aim down, 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 wherever you find for now. When you breathe in and you focus on your belly and your, what's it called? Your love handles, no, the back. What does somebody call it? The back. Oh, anyway, there you go. Those bits above your trousers, back, grabby bits. Anyway, as you breathe in, really aim and imagine your voice is right down there. And we're just gonna, again, hum or ooh, ah, anything like that, just to get a physical sensation of the voice resonating down there, not judging. It might even help to put your hand on your belly, maybe one hand on your belly, one hand on your lumbar region, your sacrum, your sacroiliac. No. Yeah. So you're kind of holding that space with your hands as well. So as you breathe in, really see if you can open up that space. So we're going to aim the voice right down in there. So imagine your body is a bell resonating. Don't even think of it coming out of your mouth, just down there. We're going to do one more of those. So this is very grounding, connecting you to the earth, grounding. Doesn't matter if you can't feel it down there. It really doesn't matter at this point. This is just the beginning of developing this relationship with the voice, which is not about making it do something in order for you to like it, which is what a lot of singing can be about. Is make my voice sound nice so that I like it. It's about what is my voice, where is it, and I love it. I love it. I love you. So coming up, let's come back into chest. So we'll do chest and collarbones, so the base of your throat, the base of your neck, and at the back, your shoulder blades, your shoulders at the back. So obviously your shoulders at the back. You could try your shoulders at the front, but that would look very weird. Anyway, so breathing in, opening up chest, opening up shoulder blades, and we're going to aim the sound in the chest now. And we're just going to do 2 of these. So again, we're just experiencing the sensation of resonating and how it feels. One more of those. Okay, so that's getting in touch with the voice inside the body. So now how can we relate that to growing emotional resilience? Well, the first one, like I say, so fear was a really good one. And we did that a couple of weeks ago, and a lot of you I've worked with before, we've had a go at maybe performance and things, which is a really good way of feeling the fear. So just in case you can't remember what fear feels like, Henny's going to mute everyone except you one at a time in a minute so that you can sing a little song for us, okay? How does that feel? No, she's not, but did you feel a little, oh, crikey. So just go there. So that's just, this is fear. This is the feeling of fear, which is very familiar to me. I've spent the whole of my life being pretty much scared of absolutely everything, which is hilarious that I turned into a performer. But anyway, there we go. So fear, let's just have a little practice of that one. So that feeling, the physical sensation. So obviously your mind will give you all the brilliant reasons there is to be afraid. There are millions, and your mind can come up with some amazingly inventive reasons for you to be absolutely terrified. That's fine. Your mind's just going to do that. It's just do that. So imagine that's just a little puppy being a little bit annoying over there. Just let it carry on ragging at that towel, and you concentrate on, where am I feeling that? So I can feel, like I say, fear is pretty much there all the time for me, and I can feel it right here. It makes your heart go. And there's a tightening that happens. So all we have to do, it's our body talking to us. It's so fantastic. Our body is actually trying to guide us here, and it's saying, hey, Ab, whoever, I just need a little bit of attention here. I need to open up and to be let in. I always think that it's about let the feelings in. So breathing in, giving space to that place of fear, really opening it up. We're just growing space around that little tightness. Sending the breath out. One more of those, and we're just going to make sound in that place. We're going to fill that place with our voice, and our voice is our comfort. Our voice is our wisdom, our kindness, our caring self, always here, ready to look after us. So that is what we're going to fill it with. Just whatever that sound of, it's okay, I've got this. Okay, let's just have another go at that. So we can add to that by just a little bit of physical support. So strengthening the tummy, which is basically, I really have got this. It's all right, darling. I know you're frightened, but we've got this, okay? So breathing in, opening up that place. Strong tummy underneath. Okay, so that's a little bit of fear. So the other one, there are loads, aren't there? So let's say, for instance, sadness is a really good one. And there's a lot of sadness around at the moment. I'm sure, you know, a lot of us are missing people. It's a pretty tricky time. So sadness, again, that's another one that, oh, let's do anything. Let's just be extra busy, shall we? So that we don't have to deal with our sadness. But actually sadness is such a fantastic place to access and to give space to. In fact, a little mantra came from sadness, which I'll share with you in a minute, that we could sing together. But anyway, sadness, again, for me has been great, because rather than running away from it, I went into it and wrote some great songs. So there you go. But the feeling of sadness. So for now, let's not, don't pick anything too awful right now, because we can't cuddle each other. But just pick a little something that makes you a bit sad, that maybe you can feel a bit sad about something. And again, like fear, our minds will just kick off and give us all sorts of reasons why we feel sad. You know, my mum was horrible to me, you know, whatever it is. So that's fine. Mind will just do that. Where can we feel that sadness? So just tap into where can you feel anything in the body? Strangely, it feels a bit similar to fear. No, okay, so it's like an aching sensation for me. So are you all able to just feel some sadness? Okay. The other thing the mind will do is try and sort it out for us, which, that's okay. But actually sometimes sadness just wants to come through. It just needs to come through. So opening up now, we're going to open up that space where that ache is. We don't need to put words to the sadness, we just need to feel it. So as you breathe in, the same as with fear, just open some space around that feeling of sadness as you breathe. So we're not doing anything, we're just creating space. Let the breath go. And now we're going to do another one of those. So really opening up, and we're going to allow the voice to fill that space of sadness, that comforting voice, that beautiful, wise inner self is going to now hold that sadness, whatever the sound is. So together with me. Let's just do another of those. So remember now, your voice is your comforting guide. It's holding you in your sadness. And it's interesting actually, because I was saying about not singing. What can actually happen is when you tap into your sadness or your emotions when you sing, it actually doesn't matter if you've got any words or whether even you're in tune, but when you tap into that feeling, it resonates with everyone else as well, and it feels amazing. So there's a good thing to know. It's communicating, it's really connecting. Okay, so anyway, there's a little taster. So there's all sorts, and I say anger is a really good one, because you can do some belting singing with that. You can do Bulgarian singing and all sorts of crazy stuff. But what I'd like to do with you now is, so we can add some words to this. So what we've done there is instead of running away from the feelings, we have, it's like an inside out embrace. We've opened up the space and we've filled it with our own voice. We've allowed our voices to be our great comfort. And how brilliant is that? Because it's here all the time within us. And it's no longer something that we have to whip into shape to make it sound nice. It's actually nourishing us and looking after us. So how brilliant. What a lovely thing. So here's a little mantra actually that Henny and I wrote together. We've been talking about resilience, and she wrote, this is from a wonderful poem that she wrote, or is it a poem? Yeah. And it's about allowing So the feelings in, allowing the feelings in with an open heart, because actually a lot of these feelings, it's kind of in here, isn't it? It's keep that heart open. The heart just wants to shut all the time to protect us. And opening it can be very painful, but we need to keep that heart open and let these emotions through. So basically the words of this are, show me all of who you are and I will show you love. So it's basically saying, inviting all our emotions, all our feelings in, don't push anything away, and just love, and they become our own fortuitous cycle. So it goes, what I'll do, like I did with the one last time, I'll sing you the phrase twice, and then the third time I'll sing it, and you just sing it along with me. So it goes, show me all of who you are. Let's do that again. Show me all of who you are. All together. So remember, let's really open up that heart, open up that space. Show me all of who you are. And the next line. And I will show you love. And I will show you love. All together. And I will show you love. So there are two lines together. Show me all of who you are, and I will show you love. So just, it's about that thing, like I say, to not push any parts of ourselves away. Allow them all in. We might think some of them are ugly, we don't want them, but let them in, show them love. And you're showing yourself love. So let's sing it together a few times. Yeah. So you're singing this, it's your comforting voice singing to you, and you comforting your voice back. Show me all of who you are, and I will show you love. Remember to open up. Show me all of who you are, and I will show you love. Show me all of who you are, and I will show you love. One more time. Show me all of who you are, and I will show you love. Brilliant. Beautiful. So yeah, mantras, little thing. You can find your own as well. So when you're in the deepest, darkest place or whatever, go in, allow your voice, and she'll come out, he will come out with some little phrase that you need at that moment, and that can become your private mantra. So thank you, everybody. Thank you for joining in with me. And I'll hand back to Henny.
Oh, Abbie. Oh. I have a request that we sing it again, but maybe we just have a few words. I don't know. Let's have a few words, and then perhaps let's just sort of.
We'll do it again at the end for definite. Yes. Yeah.
There was something that you said about the voice that I wrote it down, and then I circled it and I put little stars coming out of it. So obviously it really resonated. And you said, I love it. I love you. And it's this idea that the voice is a means for us to communicate with ourselves. It's not just we often think about it as being a thing that expresses us externally out to others. It's how we express ourselves to others, but actually this idea of I love it, I love you is about how we express ourselves to ourselves.
Yeah, yeah. Yes, it's an interesting thing, isn't it? Because it's like a sort of a fortuitous circle in a way. If we trust our voices become our guide, but we have to trust our voices in order to become the guide. And then, yeah, it is nourishing. It's interesting. Where does it start? The chicken or the egg? Where does it start? It's that self-nourishment. And I suppose I was lucky because, as like I said before, I had a lot of us have tricky childhood. I had a bit of a tricky childhood, and I was really lucky. A lot of children, they've got a great relationship with their voices, haven't they? And it's at some point they're told that they're not very good or they're out of tune or they get embarrassed and that's it. It sort of shuts. But when we're a child, we've got that good relationship with the voice. And I was quite lucky in a way because that was probably a better relationship that I had with my voice than I had with kind of anything else going on outside. So, yeah, self-nurture.
Mm. Yeah, and the inner communication. I think it's the idea hadn't kind of hit me before when we've talked of this
and I didn't know that until in the last few years. Really, I hadn't really worked that out because I was very much one of these people who worked on making my voice sound really nice so that other people loved me. And actually it's like that was ridiculous. Actually, the only thing is you've got to work on, you've got to love yourself, and that comes first. But anyway, I got a lot of love through having a nice voice, but it didn't work because I didn't love myself. So I'm much happier now. I love myself, and if anyone else loves me as well, that's great. That's like a bonus. But yeah, so the loving yourself thing that's it. And the voice it's your little baby. It's your lovely little delicate vulnerable self.
And back on that point around resilience, that resilience isn't about a stiff upper lip. It's not about it's actually something that somebody's shared, Sue's shared in the chat. She said, I think my main insight from your last session about resilience, so the last podcast, was that it might not be about being stronger. It might be about being softer, more vulnerable.
Oh, yeah.
So, and that's really what the voice does. I think what you're talking about is a kind of softening of the body, because by softening we can expand, and it's not that brittleness that you talked about. It's about a softening, and this idea that you and I have discussed before about trees, being able to flex in the wind. The strongest trees are the ones that can move, and that's true resilience, isn't it? Being able to move with what we experience.
Yeah.
And I think also like that thing of like as you were sharing the song with us, as you were sharing the tune from the mantra, it's like you can kind of feel the sound coming through your body.
Yeah,
it's really wonderful, Abbie. You really are a beautiful teacher. It's just a joy and an honor to hear you. And I just feel really mellow. That's my other observation from doing it.
Yes, it does really. I mean, can I just share a little tiny thing? So a couple of years ago, my partner had an accident, and I was the only one there to deal with it. And I always thought I'd be one of those people who just completely freaked out, and I did sort of completely freak out. But all the time I was freaking out, I was just going, and it was really strange, and it calmed me right down. Just it's like a core. It's a core thing, isn't it? It's a core thing. But yeah.
So I just thought it'd be nice just to sort of share a couple of the things that people have put into the chat. So one of the things is that resilience is having the skills to navigate change. It's also about having awareness and boundaries, and in a way that the voice as well is kind of part of that. Even just that story that you've just shared there, Abbie, about having awareness. So it's almost like there was a subconscious awareness for you that you were going through a really, really like difficult moment, actually, which did indicate change, because I know that your partner was, very hurt, and yet you had the inner awareness to self-nurture. So
yeah.
something beautiful there. And then another one about resilience is not about armor, it's about choices, about how we decide to let things affect us. And someone else has asked, before we come to sort of to maybe do a little bit more of the voice work, to come back into doing a bit more singing together, is could we all do it with our mics on to hear the beauty of each other? And it would be so wonderful, but unfortunately the way that Zoom works, it would, there's a lag, and you wouldn't necessarily hear everybody else because of how the mics work. So I think maybe not, but maybe one day we can work out a way of doing it.
Somebody will come up with the software to do that, and they're going to make an absolute million, because there are thousands and thousands of people out there who want to sing. I'll tell you what would be quite funny though, one day, to just try it and see how awful it sounds.
We can always have a go if everybody wants to. Put something in the chat if you're up for it. So then someone else has just shared, my interpretation of resilience is the toolkit to help me to recover from things more quickly that push me back. So resilience in itself is a set of tools, and we've talked about that before, about how we have a set of tools that we use, and sometimes it's your voice, sometimes it might be meditation, sometimes it might be stepping outside and looking at the sky. Like it can be lots of sort of different things. Sometimes they're tiny and sometimes they're quite big. So resilience is a toolkit in that context. I like that idea too.
Toolkit, yeah.
There was let's sort of come into doing a bit more singing. Abbie, would be really lovely if you're up for it. There was just a last sort of thought from me on that session that you've just done is one of the traits, one of the behaviors that the American Psychological Society identified around resilience is maintaining a hopeful outlook on life. And I think what I always feel after I've done a session with you is joy, even if the emotions that I've allowed to rise are fear or sadness or anger, the outcome is a sort of calm place of joy or contentment, maybe that's a better word. So that really taps into resilience again, really. So thank you, Abbie. I'm going to hand back over to you to do a little bit more with us, if that's okay. It feels good.
Okay. So I just think I wouldn't mind doing the sorry for those of you who were here a couple of weeks ago, but I did a mantra, a Buddhist mantra, which is just so wonderful, and it's just perfect for what's going on at the moment. It's a metta bhavana, so loving kindness. And first of all, it's that thing about putting the oxygen mask on yourself first. It's to fill yourself, we have to fill ourselves with the strength first, and then we can fill those around us we love, and extend it out to the whole world, which kind of really needs some loving kindness right now. So I'll do the same as I did the last one, and I'll sing the phrase 3 times, and on the third one you just sing along with me. Just before I do this, has anyone written in the chat, Henny, about wanting to have a go at us all singing at different times?
Not yet. I was just going to. I'm going to put the words to the mantra as well into the chat so that people can see them.
Okay, so the words are. I'll sing the first bit. Remember, it starts with I, so it goes. May I be filled with loving kindness. Oh, actually, just remember to go back into. Sometimes we can get lost in singing. just bring the focus and the attention back down into the nurturing inside your body feeling. So don't worry about tuning or anything. Just open and resonate. This is the first time, okay? May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be filled with loving kindness. Now you join in with me. May I be filled with loving kindness. Next line. May I be well. May I be well. Your turn. May I be well. 2 lines together. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. Next line. May I be peaceful and at ease. May I be peaceful and at ease. May I be peaceful and at ease. Sorry, I meant to say you join in on the third one. Hopefully you did. I wasn't looking at you. I was looking at the window. Let's just try that third one. May I be peaceful and at ease. And the last line. May I be happy. May I be happy. Your turn. May I be happy. So let's do the last 2 lines together. May I be peaceful and at ease. May I be happy. The whole thing. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be peaceful and at ease. May I be happy. And again. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be peaceful and at ease. May I be happy. Now with you. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you be peaceful and at ease. May you be happy. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be well. May we be peaceful and at ease. May we be happy. And now may they be filled with loving kindness. May they be well. May they be peaceful and at ease. May they be happy. And we'll finish with I. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be peaceful and at ease. May I be happy. Brilliant. Should we just quickly do the show me all of who you are, may I? And I'll show you that.
So we've had something come through which is saying, why don't we give it a go, or singing together. So okay. What I was going to suggest, so we could do, maybe we do the little mantra, the one that you taught us first.
Show me all of who you are and I'll show you love. Okay.
And what I would suggest is that anyone who's happy to do it, then come in and just unmute yourself. And if you'd rather keep it as a private thing, then just stay muted. So absolutely in your hands, everybody. And I can see people are unmuting, so it's really exciting. This is an internet first.
So what we have to do, so because of the time lag, just keep going anyway, okay? Keep going at your own pace anyway. We'll see, this could be hilarious. So I'll remind you how it goes. So for now, I'll sing it and you just repeat it back, and then we'll go together, okay? So actually, no, let's just set off. It goes, show me all of who you are, and
I will show you love.
show me all
Love who you are,
and
and I will show you love.
See, that would be a total meltdown, because I'm an absolute tempo nerd. Total timing nerd. That would just.
It was lovely. I'd like to have another go.
Okay. Should we go? Come on, let's do it. 3, 4.
Show me
who
you
are, and I will show you
all of
who you are, and I will show you love.
Show me all of who you are, and I will show you
love.
Oh, amazing. Oh, Abbie, amazing. Everybody, amazing. I've just muted everyone again because we'll stop talking. So gorgeous, so gorgeous. I'm very intrigued about how that sounds on the playback. I think it's going to be beautiful, actually. So we're at the end of our session. We are an hour in. It actually has been a regroup hour, and I am so grateful to Abbie and so grateful to all of you for joining. In a moment, I'm going to stop recording, and then I can see everybody again and wave goodbye to you all. But I mentioned earlier that I'm stepping into that vulnerable zone by having some one-to-one sessions with Abbie. So if that's something that any of you feel like doing, then drop me a note or get in contact with Abbie directly, obviously. And like, if you write to me, then I'll put you in touch with Abbie. It's a really wonderful thing, and there seems something particularly resonant right now about kind of stepping into those like vulnerable places, and maybe we can sort of access it because of everything else that's going on around us, and kind of honoring our experience of what's going on around us right now. And if you want to explore the idea of resilience any further, on the Regroup website, there's a little mini course that you can do actually to go through those 10 traits and just explore those. That's a little gift.
Brilliant, Henny. I loved it.
Oh, thank you, Abbie. And then the last thing is there's the session next week with Gemma, where we're going to be building on these themes even more. And if you fancy doing something that's a little bit deeper with a much smaller group of people, we've got our next regroup retreat, which is a virtual half-day retreat, which is all about balance and how do we find and maintain balance, which again is like an absolutely core fundamental part of change and also of self-care. So all of these things are deeply important, particularly right now, particularly during times of change. So just last thank you again to Abbie, and I'm going to stop the recording and just say thank you so much to everybody. Thank you for your contributions, and thank you, Abbie.
You lovely people.